In this video, I'm going to give you guys the best Hunter PvE builds for Destiny 2 Season of the Plunder. And some of you may be wondering, is that possible? Of course it's possible. So grab your popcorn and a drink because this is going to be a good one. Now this first build is centered around the Gathering Storm Super. This super was released with Arc 3.0 and it is one of the best DPS supers in the game because it comes with great ad clearing and is great for damage over time. And because you're getting great damage passively, you can use things like linear fusion rifles to help take down bosses pretty easy. And one thing I really love about all these new Arc builds is that all of them are built around speed and movement. Now the first ability we're going to go with is Gambler's Dodge because dodging near enemies fully recharge your melee ability. And we're going to pair it with Combination Blow because it increases your melee damage when defeating the target and it stacks it 3 times. Also, when you defeat an enemy, it fully refills your class ability energy and restores a small amount of your health. So every time you dodge, you get your melee back. And every time you melee an enemy, you get your dodge back. So you're pretty much going to become the Mike Tyson of Destiny 2. For your first aspect, you want to use Lethal Current because after dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, it jolts the target, and it creates a damaging aftershock. And to make this aspect even more nastier, when you damage a jolted target, the melee attacks also blind them. And this is real good for in-game activity because you're able to chain lightning to ads, but then also you can also blind those bosses by continuously punching them. Now the first fragment we're using is a Spark of Beacons because while you amplify your arc special weapon, Final Blows create a blinding explosion. And because with this build you're always going to be amplified, you're really going to be able to take advantage of that fragment. In the next fragment we're going to use the Spark of Resistance because while you're surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage and you get plus 10 to your strength. And this will give you a 25% damage resistance when surrounded by enemies. And when you stack it with very high resilience, it make it really hard for you to be killed. Also using Spark of Shock, which allow you to jolt your targets with Arc Grenade. And remember, we're also using the Lethal Current aspect, so damaging any jolted target with a melee attacks also blinds them. Plus we're using the Flow State aspect while defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. And this is an amazing perk because once you're amplified, your dodge recharges quickly and you're more resilient while dodging and your reload speed is greatly increased. And next we're using the Spark of Recharge, so while you're critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerates more quickly. And this comes in very good in situations where you don't have your dodge nor your melee available to you. So the perfect exotic to pair with this build is the Liar's Handshake Gauntlet because while you're using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack, it will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. And what's pretty cool, this stacks with the Combination Blow that we talked about earlier in the video. And this is amazing because you will be getting healed twice for every powerful melee. Like I said, this build is really good because you're going to be able to do a lot of damage, but also you're going to be able to stay alive a lot longer than most subclass builds. Now here's the mods that I'm using and it's really good for this build. And you can also use other mods as well, but like I was telling you guys, this build is very flexible and is very powerful, and like I said, man, it is hard for you to get killed. Also, you can pair this build with so many good weapons, anything that does great arc damage, grenade launchers, linear fusion rifles, any shotgun that has 1-2 punch is very good to use with this build. Now here's another top best hunter arc build in Season of the Plunder.
Fuck this shit! Came in this fucking room and everything went fucking bad.
Jesus, Snoop, I know I'm not Ezotech Cross, but man, this video do have some type of value. Now, the first build I gave you, I believe, was the best build for more of an aggressive style of play. However, this next build is going to be a little bit more passive-aggressive type of gameplay style. And this build is perfect for in-game activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls. And in those type of activities, it's very important that you guys stay alive. So your job as the hunter is to kind of be the one to stay alive and help revive your teammates. Now, we're going to go with the Arc Staff Super because you can deflect incoming projectiles with your Arc Staff, and the super is very good for clearing ads and in-game activities. Now you can see from this gameplay in the background that my teammates are constantly dying in this Nightfall, but because I have this Arc Staff, I'm able to block these projections so we can stay alive and I can get these revived. And hey, we've all been in those situations where our teammates are constantly dying in in-game activities, so you definitely want to make sure you have an Arc Staff on hand. Now for our grenades, we're going to be using skip grenades because we're also going to be using well mods so we could get our abilities back faster, and grenades are going to be very important, and I like to have grenades that chase the enemies versus them having to come to me. Our first aspect is going to be Lethal Current again because as we know, after we dodge, our next melee attack has an increased lunge range that jolts the target and also creates a damaging aftershock. plus damaging the jolted target with our melee blinds them. And like I said earlier, this is a passive aggressive build, so we want to go with Tempest Strike as well as an aspect. Because while we're sliding, we activate our charged melee ability to unleash a devastating uppercut, which travels across the ground, which is pretty cool. It jolts the target as well once they're hit. And like I said, we're going to be running around getting a lot of revives with this build, so this is really good to have because we can hit enemies while we're on the run. And the first aspect we're using is the Spark of Discharge, because Art Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. And like I said, this build is very grenade centric, so we're going to need those ionic traces to give an energy boost to our abilities. And again, we're using Spark of Resistance so we can get that 25% damage resistance when we're standing by enemies. And we're using Spark of Shock again so that arc grenades can jolt the target. And remember, we're using it with the aspect Lethal Current because damaging the jolted target with a melee attack also blinds them. And lastly, we're using the Spark of Ions because defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. This is going to help us get an even greater energy boost to all of our abilities. Now, a lot of people like to pair Shinobu's Vow Gauntlet with this build because you get an extra skip grenade. But for myself, I like to use Raju's Harness because normally your Whirlwind Guard on your Arc Staff takes a lot of super energy. However, with this exotic, your Whirlwind Guard consumes energy more slowly when not attacking, and guarding does not consume extra super energy. And any exotic that help you maintain or increase your super energy is something very powerful for in-game activities. Now, as for mods, here's a very important mod you want to use from the artifact called Lightning Strikes Twice, because after you throw an arc grenade, you gain increased grenade recharge for a short time, and your arc final blows extend the duration of the benefit. And here are all the elemental well mods that I'm using for this build. Like I said, these two best hunter builds are really going to help you guys in PvE activity. And if you are a fan of hunter builds, I would suggest you watch this playlist next. And also, hey, please like this video or please consider subscribing to help us get to 18,000 subscribers. So until next time, this your boy Ibetonme saying peace. Hope to see you guys in the Destiny universe. Let's team up and have some fun. You guys have a blessed day.